Have you ever needed an important document notarized and your bank was closed? Need someone who would be reliable, punctual, and provide great customer service? Call my man Maurice over at Austin Mobile Notary, 757-325-7353, or email him at austinmobilenotary@gmail.com. Austin Mobile Notary is a new mobile after-hours and weekend notary service. Mention this podcast, Real Talk with the 6THMAN, and Maurice will give you a $5 credit towards your first bill. Remember, Austin Mobile Notary for convenient mobile notary services. Austin Mobile Notary, y'all. Check them out. 6THMAN. Y'all be easy.
Be better than yesterday, I gotta be better than yesterday. No matter if I'm playing 6-man or star, I'm better than yesterday. I gotta be better than yesterday, I gotta be better than yesterday. No matter if I'm playing 6-man or star, I'm better than yesterday.
We gotta be better, do better. That's every minute, every second. Dropping juice, hope you collecting them. The voice of the people, we all gon' get heard. This real spill, never clean what I say. Always tuned in, never tuned out. Gotta stay woke and be a sleepwalker. Gotta stand up, got too many standouts. Stay ready like the 6-man of the year. We up now. We up now.
Be better than yesterday, I gotta be better than yesterday. No matter if I'm playing 6-man or star, I'm better than yesterday. Be better than yesterday, I gotta be better than yesterday. No matter if I'm playing 6-man or star, I'm better than yesterday.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the show. I think in the last couple months, it actually hit me after I did the Unicare DC interview that I wanted to start touching base with a lot of the community-based groups in the DMV area, and I'm not discriminating towards where you are in the area. I mean, as long as you're home based, here in Maryland, DC, and Virginia, I want to enlighten that and, shed some light on it. Some of the stuff we don't know about, some of the stuff I'm just learning about. And so I want to, shed some light on some communities out here that's doing some good work in the community. And I stumbled up upon another jewel in DC. And this jewel was stumbled upon a friend of mine who has an organization who actually partners with this jewel. So I'm going to sit down with her this evening and just talk about her organization, talking about the partnership that she has, where we are now, and just get an idea of how it's impacting the community, and just trying to get an idea of what community volunteering looks like. I mean, a lot of people doesn't take the time to really look at what it looks like. Fortunately for me, I was able to volunteer with my church, First Baptist Church of Glen, with the prison ministry. And when I first did it, it just seemed so comfortable. It just seemed like it was something that I was supposed to do. And so now when I go into other volunteer groups, I got a better understanding of, they're taking the time to volunteer because they feel something inside them that makes them want to go and volunteer. So it doesn't seem like it's a chore. It doesn't make it seem like it's something that they really don't want to do, or that they got to just, get their community service hours. It's something that they really feel passionate about, that they want to do. And I feel like I want to, kind of shed some light on some of the local, area organizations, and some of the local area people who have their own organizations who actually are partnering and volunteering in the community. So with that being said, Jeanette, the first time I even volunteered with you was at the food bank, right?
Yep, Capital Area Food Bank.
And so it was, I think for me it was fun because, one, I had already started my little volunteering spirit, so to speak. And then when you saw me on, I think we was at Ron's house when you saw me, I think. But then you was like, look, I got this going on, and you better come because you missed what was it? Was it the black tie cancer event? And I couldn't make it, and you were so mad. And then I saw the pictures. I was like, damn, look at the fellas. They dressed up. The ladies look nice. Oh, yeah. It was real good. I mean, we're going to get into that. But I felt like, when I saw the pictures, since I already volunteered, I can understand that even though it might not have been this big, fantastic event, but it was a good look for you because you was like, look at all my friends and look at all the people who support me who came out, to support the event. So I thought it was cool. So you are the founder of LBD Social,
yes,
right? And so when I did some, slight research that what you gave me, and then I went on your Facebook page. LBD stands for what?
Little black dress.
Tell me how that came about. Yeah.
So the concept of the little black dress came into my mind with the whole idea that every woman. It started off with, just wanting to get together with some friends and, go to dinner. And every woman has that staple little black dress in their closet. That dress that makes them feel sexy, makes them feel powerful. So I just kind of winged it off of that idea, that it was easy for me and my girlfriends to kind of like put on our little black dresses, and since all of us love shoes, wear any kind of color shoes that they wanted and go out to dinner and just, chill out, rekindle our relationships and just check up on each other. We don't do that anymore in our community. So just to check up on you, just to see how you're doing.
And that's important. I mean, I think the way life is now, the way we're losing family members, friends. When we look on the news, I take that deep sigh because I'm like, every time we turn on the news, it's the same thing all over again. So I think the importance of wanting to bring people together is very important. And then even with you having people to support you in a way where they want to come and volunteer with you, that's big too.
Absolutely.
That's really big.
Because it definitely started off with just us getting together just for dinner. It was just something that we thought about as far as we got older, life took over.
Right.
And then, we realized that it had been about 2-3 years since we've seen each other as a collective.
Right.
So we're like, let's just go to dinner. Let's just get together, check up on each other, figure out what's happening, see how we can support each other. And one thing led to another. And then after that initial night, the emails the next day was like, when is the next one? And,
wow.
I'm like, that really wasn't part of the plan.
Wow.
But if you guys want to do it again, let me see what I can do. So find another venue and find out what we can do. And then I put together a Facebook invite. I sent it to the usual suspects, those same 6 women, and they forwarded it to a sister, they forwarded it to an aunt, they forwarded it to another friend, that forwarded it to someone else. And then the very next event, we had about 65 women.
So I was going to follow up with inspiration. So with the emails and the attention that it got, I don't think that you thought in the beginning that,
oh no,
we gonna do this again and again and again.
Oh no.
So once you got the emails, once you got the crowd, of the event being so successful, what was the inspiration behind keeping it going?
Because it was something that was a very beautiful sight to behold.
Okay.
When you see that many women get together without drama,
right.
Because that's what a lot of people associate together when they have a bunch of women going in one place and they don't know each other. They always think of drama first. And everyone knew that I wasn't full of foolishness.
Right.
I'm a lady. We're gonna go out. We're gonna have a couple of cocktails, but we're gonna do it responsibly.
Right.
So when it started to pick up, and I saw that everyone had the same idea that I had, that outside of being that mother, outside of being that professional, outside of being that wife and a sister and the support system for so many people, you forget about yourself.
Right.
You invest so much in everybody else that you don't stop and just be yourself and revel in the whole just being a woman.
Right.
And so in that regard, for me, getting dressed up, going out, treating myself to a nice dinner, bottle of wine, it was just something that
one bottle?
Just one bottle. Just one bottle.
I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry.
So, you know, treating yourself out, you know, if you had those close girlfriends, everyone doesn't live, you know, around the corner anymore.
Right.
So when I saw how people received it and they had the same idea, the same feeling, but they didn't know how to put it together, that was like, okay, I think I got something here.
Right.
And then to see all of these women come out in their little black dresses with their high heels, different colored shoes and everything. And then you're meeting a stranger, but a person that, you know, you thought was a stranger is the person that lived around the corner from you.
Right.
Or it was someone that you've seen in passing but never opened your mouth to speak to them.
Right.
And now I'm noticing that a lot of the women now that started off with me 6 years ago, that now they're saying that the women that they met at my event is, you know, their best friend.
Right.
You know, this is now their partner.
Wow.
This is the person that they can't see. They don't know how they've been able to live without them because they've made such an impact in their lives. And that's how the vision of it grew, because these women were meeting people that were meeting them in the place that they were in, and they were able to connect with them, and they were able to flourish after that. So that's what made it keep going.
And so what was the main mission for LBD?
The initial mission for LBD was just for folks to step away from their everyday lives, to just relax, release, to possibly make a new friend, and just to go out and have a good time. Just one night.
People not too old to still be making friends?
Huh?
People not too old to still be making friends?
Oh no.
Okay.
I mean, because if
I hear people say, "I'm too old to be making friends. I'm too old for that."
It depends on the caliber of friends that you're bringing around you.
Right.
I mean, I've had several friends that have come into my life at different stages of my life, and not everyone that was at the beginning are still here.
Oh, I'm one.
So there's a difference. At every level, everyone is not going to reach that level with you.
Right.
And so I'm about that whole, you know, life is a reason, a season, a lifetime.
That's true.
And so as time went on, I began to people that came into my life because of LBD, they opened my eyes to other things.
Okay.
So I never, it was never my intention to make LBD a nonprofit. It was my intention just to get together with my girlfriends. That's it.
Just for a night.
Just for a night. One night.
Mm-hmm.
One night.
Look at God.
And look at God. And over 100 women. And I have over nearly 600 followers now on Facebook.
Okay.
And I mean, I'm getting support from people all over the country.
That's what's up.
And folks are coming from all over the country to come to my events. And that's a blessing. Definitely a blessing.
And so the events that you've had thus far have been impactful.
I hope so.
Right.
Okay.
So they've been impactful. And so after you had the few events, the first event, and then it was like, oh no, we need a follow up. Mm-hmm. And then you've had a follow up, mm-hmm. and then I just heard you say in speaking that you been at it for 6 years.
Oh yeah.
Which is a blessing in itself.
Absolutely.
And so now you've impacted so many people within the 6 year period. Now you finding yourself to say, okay, I want to branch out. I want to do something other than a social event.
Absolutely.
Now I want to look at something different.
Absolutely.
Kind of tell me how that happened and then what that something else was.
Our very last, well, not last event, but the event that made me think that we needed to expand was in 2015, where we did a breast cancer event. And the support that we received was unreal. I mean, breast cancer has affected so many of the women that are in the group. And, for me personally, with my aunt being a 26-year survivor, I wanted to do something that was a little bit bigger, a little bit broader.
Okay.
And when we put the word out in regard to the event, a lot of organizations reached out and asked how could it help? How can they help? So we got donations, we got food donations. We had people donating, information to do grab bags, and people that wanted to come in and just offer, just little trinkets and things to put on the table. And so that's when it kind of expanded outside of just that social realm. And we were already, supporting the community by doing, Christ House and Capital Area Food Bank and with Calvary. But it just let me know that, we have a voice. I have a voice. And it's something that I've been passionate about, since I was in junior high school. So it led me to the opportunity to kind of focus that energy and to turn everyone's eyesight from just a social event to say, you do have a voice that's inside the community, and then here's how you can use it. And something that some people can look at it as something small, providing a meal. That's big for some people.
Absolutely.
If you think about it, the number of homeless people that are just in the DMV is astonishing.
It is.
And I grew up in a family where no one goes to bed hungry. And to drive through these streets and you see someone that is out laying on benches or under bridges and things like that, and something as simple as a hot meal can change everything for them. And so I believe it was one time I was driving down Benny Road and right where the shrimp boat is, and a gentleman walked up to my car, and I had just gotten something from Wendy's. And he just, on his sign, he just like, I'm hungry.
Keeping it real.
That's it. It was it was straightforward, no BS, no nothing. It was like, I'm hungry.
Wow. And
I gave him my food, and he just like, God bless you.
Right.
And he sat down in the grass and ate his food. And I'm like, something as simple as that. And I'm like, that could be the only meal that he's going to have today.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, what can I do?
Right.
Like, what can I do as an individual? And I'm like, I got 100+ women and men that are following me. Like, let's see if they listen. Let's see if they hear what's in my heart right now.
Just trying to see if people are connected. Because, you got people who came out for the events. And, people are social. They'll come out for the social event just not to be in a house, or if they know a girlfriend, or if they know it's a situation where, it's a little bit, because I know all of the events were like, dressed up. You have to dress up.
Semi-formal.
Right. So me myself, sometimes people, when I dress up, people tend to go overboard. Oh, look at you. And I'm like,
put on your Sunday best.
Yeah, but that's something that I like to do sometimes. Absolutely. Though. You know what I mean? So I know people tend to like you said, get in the mirror, makeup, all that, and get pretty and go out. But now this dynamic has changed from it being a social aspect to it being a community-based aspect. And so I feel like that's a blessing in itself, because now I feel like I'll get into the impactfulness of what you're doing now. But can you imagine the impact that you've had thus far where you are now? Because as I kind of read the backdrop and some of the history that you'll give us in a few, is like wow. Like, okay, so first it was a one night, then it turned into a one night, 2 events with an S. And then after it turned to an event with an S, now it's a partnership. And then now from partnership, we don't know what's next, but you just keep going. Right. So so kind of tell me, how did the partnership with Calvary Women's Services, how did that kind of happen? Like, how did that, was it you reaching out to them? Was it them reaching out to you? Or
when we decided to expand on the community initiative, our former community coordinator, she went on a community search engine, and we basically was like, let's start small to see, what exactly we're capable of doing.
Right.
We didn't want to reach too high, and we wasn't able to kind of meet the demand.
Right.
So she reached out, and they let us know the different programs and everything that they had. And we started off simply as coming in as meal volunteers.
Okay.
And so we are now slated to serve the residents and staff here. They're about 45 to 50, depending if they have a full house.
Okay.
And we came in the first, I think we were called around Thanksgiving or Christmas, and they didn't have anyone to serve.
Okay.
And so we were able to kind of slide in that slot. And from that point on, the ladies just embraced us. because most of the ladies that, volunteer with me, they love to cook, so, and they also had that passion of trying to figure out what they can do to give back.
Right.
So as time went on, it was, okay, the ladies loved you. We heard about, the reception that you all received, and, they want you back. Like, okay, we love, that doesn't matter, just let us know when.
Right.
And then we came back the next time, and the ladies were peeking around the corner saying, LBD, they're here. And they would run and tell the other residents that we were here. And me sitting in shock, I'm like, what does that mean? Like, it's just a meal. And then as time went on, we would notice that the residents would peek around the corner and see if they see me or see one of the coordinator that was also with us. Mm-hmm. And it just got to the point where they're saying, we want to get on the books, regularly. And the residents want to see you guys.
Oh, wow.
Every month. I'm like, okay, we can see if we can do that. And then, 5 years from now?
So this was not something, you did it.
It wasn't planned.
As a reach out.
It was a reach out.
To get that community based event going, but it wasn't something that you. So hold on, let me get this straight. So LBD Social was supposed to be an event. Right. And then LBD Social started in 2011, right? And then 2015 was like the closeout, right?
In a sense.
And then it was like, okay, well, let's see what we can do in the community.
Right.
And then I don't want to use the word partnership right in the beginning, but you came and searched out a place. You was like, we all cook. Okay, let's go ahead. It's a women's center.
It's a women's
where
center.
Women. Mm-hmm. So why not start there?
That's
so you make it a one day trip, so to speak, and then that relationship, that impactfulness, and then that thought that you just had. It's just food. It was bigger than what you even thought it was going to be.
Right. Because I think what we bring, and I can only speak for LBD, I think what we bring is the fact that, you never know the type of day a person is having.
Absolutely.
You never know where the person is going through. So when we come, as you notice, when we were walking around, I speak to everyone. The residents, they give me hugs, they look forward to, our meals. And then, we have the opportunity after we serve them to sit down and actually have dinner with them. So I've gotten to know some of the residents, and they tell me how their day was, and, just have a general conversation. Because some of them are so isolated from just, the everyday world outside of, what they're going through as far as going through the program here at Calvary, and trying to find work, because that's one of the requirements to, stay as a resident here. So they have to constantly look for employment, go through their programs, and, do what they need to do to maintain their residency here.
Okay.
So, I sit down and I ask them, how was your day? How are you doing?
Right.
I'm treating them just as I would want someone to treat me.
Right.
So, it's something very simple. And then I learned that, some of them look forward to that. And they knew that when we came in, we did, the spread. We would lay out a huge spread of different varieties of food, and it was good, apparently. And we would decorate the tables. We would give them treats. We will give them, little grab stuff that they can take. And, we actually in tuned and wanted to know how their day was,
right,
and how we can do what we can do to impact that, and how we can, make their week going forward until we come back, even better. Right. So, it just changed as our relationship grew. And
it don't get no more closer to community based than where you are right now.
Absolutely.
When I saw the address, I was like, that's the South Side.
The South Side.
She ain't even playing games. She right in the thick of it. But I like the fact that, I was having a conversation on Memorial Day about the difference between people who grew up in Maryland and the difference between people who grew up in D.C. Mm-hmm. And then it ended up being, one of them conversations where everybody looked at me and was like, dog, this need to be a topic. Mm-hmm. I said, all right, let me work on that. And so in my mind, it's like, you know, there is some differences between Maryland and DC.
Absolutely.
Right? But the need is still the same in both areas, right? I mean, community-based activism, people who want to volunteer, people who want to generally just get out and just give back. And I mean, for me, it wasn't something that I thought I was comfortable doing. But then it was like when I meet people, when I talk to them, they always ask me stuff like that. But why you ain't out talking to other people? I was like, well, why would I do that? You here talking to us? But I think it's different when I'm just talking to people that I know versus talking to people that I don't know. And I think that first time that I opened up in the volunteering session that we had, the facilitator was asking, he normally starts out with a scripture and then kind of gets the guys out, you know, how can I say, a definition of what the scripture is, and kind of asks them to kind of, you know, take something from the scripture and involve it in their life. And, you know, if they left, how would life look if they did it by this scripture every day? And so a lot of the guys would talk, some of them wouldn't. Some of the guys came just to, you know, come to get out their cell, which was fine. I mean, we felt like when we got there, whoever came, we were happy for them to come regardless. But one night it was a full house. I would say it was about 13 guys that came, and it was three or four younger guys there. And, you know, you can tell that they were in it, but they were just in it just to get out the cell. And so while the older gentlemen are talking and all that, they kind of just, you know, we just hid. So when I kind of started to speak, for some reason, it was just like, so where were you at? And I named on the small end, I named 3 or 4 places that I made residency at, and they were like, oh okay. And so then I started using terminology that we would use, you know, behind the wall, and they was like, oh okay. And so now it's more questions, it's more, you know, how did you handle this, or what did you do this? And by the time was up, they was like, oh, we gotta leave. And so you never know, like you saying, oh, it was just a meal. You never know that meal, that conversation, you know, that interaction, what that does to other people, because of course it was some people in the group that were just quiet and they were just there for the, you know, for the time being. But as I began to talk, and the facilitator kind of like, you know, let me do my thing, because it was natural. It wasn't something I was trying to force. And I was just like, you know, I've been in, you know, in this situation, and in my mind, you know, not making it all about Jesus Christ and religion, but I mean, this is not the end all be all. Right. Like, you know, I'm a full example, not really knowing me deeply, that, you know, when you leave out of here, something can change. But it starts with you though. And so a lot of people don't know that interaction, you know, whether it be community based, whether it be personal, whether it be a family friend, just reaching out to that person, you know, people tend not to want to share. And, and you know, and I hate to say, you know, the black community, but in our community, we got this P word that dreads us.
Absolutely.
And it's called pride.
Absolutely.
You know, that pride, I ain't nothing wrong with me, I'm good. But yet, you know, I can tell.
Not knowing that there is someone that has been in your shoes, and that's probably currently in the shoes that you were before. Right. And they can probably give you some insight to bring you out of that. And a lot of people don't want to ask for help.
And your pride is like, you know, that wall. Oh, you don't want to open up? Nah, I'm good. I'm good. You know what I mean? So the community base for me has impacted me, you know, in a way where I was just like, you know, I didn't know where the podcast was going to go, but I get so much good feedback. And I told somebody else one time that I be wondering, you know, am I doing it right? Is it impacting people? And then it's like you go out.
People are listening.
Right. And you go out and you see somebody you ain't seen in a while. And it's like, what's up? Oh, how you been, Slim? What's going on? Like, no, I'm just working. Oh, no, but I've been listening to the podcast. I saw you on Facebook. And it's like, wow. Like, it's really happening. I mean, I got a guy in New York inboxing me like, look, man, I've been meaning to hit you, man, but, man, keep doing what you're doing. I'm 6 episodes in. And it's like now, he's saying he's 6 episodes in, but now I got 56 episodes. Absolutely. So I showed somebody, they was like, you playing. I was like, no, that's you've been working like that. I'm trying to. So like that word impact, people don't get a, you know, full understanding of that word impact. So give me an idea of how, because you guys been here for a while now. So give me the impact that Calvary has had on LBD and yourself in general. I mean, because you only stay somewhere if you feel a certain type of way about it.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So
I think that I speak for all the ladies that volunteer here. We love Calvary simply because of the difference that they're making in these women's lives. And the fact that they have several programs that are tailored to the needs of these women is what we see each time we come. And you can see the ladies running up to us and telling us that they're moving out next week, or they're moving out at the end of the month. And, like what the lady at the front was mentioning, that they have a lot of empty beds now because a lot of the ladies are transitioning. So when we see that, although, of course, we come in prepared to feed 45 to 50 women in residence, but when we hear that they got empty beds, that means those people have gone through the program.
Right.
And that they have learned and taken in the resources that are available to them, and they've been able to regain their lives.
That means the programs are working.
The
Right.
program works.
Right.
And so hearing that makes me happy. So I can't wait to go back and tell, my core volunteers that, such and such has left and that she's now in transitional housing, because that makes me happy. And, and I believe what we do here at Calvary is give them an opportunity to be themselves and not be so secluded and so isolated in what's going on in their lives right now.
Right.
And that there are people, strangers even, that actually do care.
Right.
I don't care what got you here.
Right.
I've never asked any of the residents that.
Right.
It's about what's happening right now and how can I make sure that you are having a good day and have a great meal tonight.
Right.
And what I've noticed with the residents is the fact that they request certain food. And before they're saying, the residents couldn't do that. No, tell me.
So I can bring it.
Tell me, because that lets me know that lets me know that you are interested. You enjoy my cooking, for one. For two, that lets you know that I'm paying attention to you.
Right.
That lets you know that I actually went out and specifically got something that reminds you of home.
Right.
And that
or a good place, or
absolutely.
something that good happened in your life.
Tell me what you want. I ask them every time we come in, what do you want next week? What do you want the next time we come? And they tell me. It can be pig's feet, it can be collard greens, it can be fried chicken, fried fish, whatever. We do it.
Right.
We have done pretty much every meal for them since we've been here. And each time, the ladies come in and they look forward to it. And they sit down, they enjoy it. They come back for seconds. You see them leaning back in their chairs, rubbing their bellies because they're happy, they're full. Who's not happy when the belly's full with a hot meal?
That's true.
How does a hot, good meal feel in your system and it's good for your soul?
A nap afterwards.
A nap is
just a quick one, not like just a little quick.
They lay it down.
Yeah.
Lay it down.
Yeah.
So I mean, it just lets me know that what the mission that Calvary has and our contribution to that, it's working. And because these women have gone through it. They've gone through the whole program and they've transitioned out.
And so you talked about some of the programs. I'm on their website now, and some of the programs, like you said, they have housing, the health services, employment services, education, and then at the bottom it says 90% of the women secure employment with Calvary support and in their own homes.
Yes.
That's what's up. 90%?
That is amazing.
That's heavy.
Yes.
It says 3/4 of the women at Calvary attended educational classes and activities. 73% of the women successfully ended their homelessness and moved into their own homes. 73%.
73%.
That's a big number.
That's amazing.
That's not a little. That's not a little number, y'all. And I'm on their website right now just to give them, some shine. I'm on their website right now, and all you have to do is go on Google like I did and just put in Calvary Women's Services. As soon as you put up woman, it's already gonna have services. All you gotta do is hit the link, and they have their programs. They have how you can get involved, what's new, and what Calvary is all about. If you hit on the About tab, it'll tell you everything that they're about. It has a little drop down menu, and you just hit About Us. It kind of gives you what they are about. It would have been nice to have somebody here to be able to tell us fully what they're about, but they are located on Good Hope Road, right on the south side.
Right by the big chair.
And I think that if you know anybody who's having hardship, if you know anybody who can be empowered by this program, I would highly tell you to go to Google, put in Calvary Women's Services, and get all the information you can. And so you already kind of talked about how the impact has impacted you, but how has Calvary Women's Services, how has their impact in the community with these women impacted you?
It's impacted me because now I want to see how much bigger LBD can go. It lets me know that there is a need out there.
Right.
And that I have enough people that are listening to me,
right,
that we can stretch across the DMV to impact, others.
Okay.
Because it's so centralized here, and it's only they only have room for 45 residents here.
Okay.
Think of the amount of people that we can reach if those 100 people that were coming to my social event,
right,
can reach across the city.
Right.
So that lets me know that there's more work to be done.
Right.
And the more I continue to do what I do as far as with Calvary and partnering with other organizations, we can spread that word and spread that love and spread the support and everything across the community, so we can reach as many people as we can. And so that broader aspect of LBD is lingering in the air.
Okay.
So the more information I get and how we can get involved with trying to end homelessness, it gives me the opportunity to educate myself, to get those statistics, to find out, how we can get our city council and members and everything involved,
right,
to see how broadly we can, expand it to get a voice on a bigger platform.
I know a young lady in mind too, so once we done, I'll plug you in with her.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So I mean, although I was born and raised in DC too, most of the programs for homelessness has been so centralized in DC.
Mm-hmm.
I live in PG County now.
Right.
I would love to do things that are closer to my home and everything, but everyone brings everything into DC.
I love it.
It's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
However, there's still people in PG County.
Absolutely. That's true.
There's people across that line that need the help as well.
They do.
And the programs that like Calvary and the places like Calvary are out there, but they're so few and far between.
Right.
So what can I do to go into PG County, into Montgomery County, into Calvary County to provide the same services outside of just that domestic violence realm?
And we need to help the brothers out.
Absolutely, I'm here for it. I mean, the fact that we're here at Calvary, it's like it's just the fact that we've grown attached to them.
Yeah, it was kind of your calling to come here first.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, we served at Christ's House up Columbia Road.
Okay.
And going up there, they're somewhat similar to Calvary, and they primarily service men.
Okay.
And so, with them, it's a little bit more tricky.
And what's the name of that?
That's Christ House.
Christ House.
Mm-hmm. It's right off Columbia Road.
Okay.
And they provide pretty much the same services that Calvary does.
Okay.
And, I mean, because they had been such a pillar in the community, that their volunteer program is like a waiting list.
Okay. So
the only slots that we were able to pretty much get with them were breakfast. So leaving up Marlboro, Maryland,
right,
trying to get up Columbia Road by 6:30, 7 o'clock, a little rough some days. So we would try to pass it on to other organizations, people that lived closer up there, and it was the same thing, meal volunteering. And that's pretty much all they needed because they were already set up with like funding and everything from the city.
I see that.
And I mean, Christ House is an amazing place to be. They have the substance abuse program. They have pretty much a full healthcare services that is in that building.
Wow.
I mean, they're amazing. And then their cook, Miss Margaret, loved Miss Margaret. She will come in and make them, the meals and everything too. And they prayed before they ate. but they were a little bit more strict in how you dealt with the residents.
Okay.
Because a lot of them were substance abusers or they had mental issues and whatever.
Makes
so
sense.
they wanted us to be a little bit more cautious when dealing with them. So we kind of pulled back because of, some of the volunteers were uncomfortable, or there was an incident where they had to, kind of isolate us from the residents and things like that. So a lot of people wasn't getting the same reception that we get here at Calvary. So we kind of let Christ House go, but I stay in contact with their community coordinator, and I let them know if there's a slot open, let me know.
Right.
And I can see if I can get, one of my male volunteers to come up with me or something. And so far it looks like they got it covered.
Okay. At least you extended that olive branch.
Absolutely.
And at least you were able to get in the door to see it, to kind of see what it was. And it's nice that, we talking about women, but here it is. I go on their website, and it's, for the most part, look like it's just strictly men.
It's strictly
which is cool. And when you go on the page, on the front of the page, on the home page, there's a young lady helping an older guy. She's washing his feet, and I'm like, okay. As soon as you open up the website, that's what you get. That's what's up. And so the volunteer work here and the impactful relationship that you guys had now seems like it's streaming a little bit heavier than what you thought it was going to be. Do you think that you're going to be able to handle that, or you think you're ready to handle, you got a core group of women who's about 100 or so, and now we need you in PG, now we need you out Virginia, now we need you here. You think that 9 to 5 might have to be, get cut to the back, and you really kind of like, okay, look, let me do this, or you think you still, kind of at the point where you still gonna keep the 9 to 5, but you kind of still do this as much as possible?
It's a process.
Okay.
It's a process. It's not gonna happen overnight, and I would hope, and that is definitely part of the prayers, to see, where God is going to lead me.
Right.
And definitely, the whole idea is to give back to the community, to give back to not just women, men, but a community as a whole. So you never know. And right now, again, it came from an idea of just missing some friends, and now here we are, 8 years later almost.
And I was going to ask a question because I didn't see it yet. The women that come here, if they have children, do they house their children here as well?
No.
Okay.
So there's another organization that we're trying to partner with, and that's My Sister's Place.
Okay.
So with here, the women that come here, they are the sole residents. And that the children, most of the children and ladies here are a variety of ages, and their families live separately.
Okay.
So they are allowed to go out and spend time, like on the weekends and things of that nature, with their family. And they just have a curfew that they have to be back on site by, I think, 8:00.
Okay. So I'm just gonna put this out there. So I'm on here right now. So in the last 40 minutes, I'm learning about Calvary Women's Center. Calvary's Women's Services. Mm-hmm. I'm learning about Christ House, and now I'm learning about My Sister's Place. So that's 4 jewels. 3 jewels. Well, including yours, will be 4. But stationary places, which we would call an entity. Mm-hmm. So it's 3 places that I'm learning about in the last 40 minutes that it looks like they're all jewels in DC.
Absolutely.
But it's like, how many people know about it? And so I guess with the type of volunteer work that people can do, more people would know about it. Because if you volunteer somewhere and you just happen to have a conversation, and somebody says, "Oh, what do you do? In your spare time?" "Oh, I volunteer at Oh, you do? How does that work?" And then that's a conversation, and then that person goes home and be like, "You know what? Let me go online."
There's quite a few of them out there.
Right.
Quite a few of them out there.
Right.
I mean, Purple Stars Foundation.
I know about them.
Purple Stars Foundation. I think it's Biscuits with Boots.
Biscuits with Boots?
I think it's Biscuits with Boots. I've partnered with them. They do the grab bag, lunch bag.
Okay.
That's down in Chinatown at Bar Louie's.
Okay.
They put together lunches and they go and deliver to the homeless down there.
That's what's up.
And They mainly set up by Franklin Square, right across from 14th Park.
Yeah.
So they go out there and they just set up a table, because DC's kind of tricky. It's a little different when you really can't like come out, set up a table, serve.
Right.
Then the police and everyone, and I get it. It's rules and regulations and laws.
But we're serving the community.
But we're serving the community. That's what we're looking at it as.
Yeah.
They're looking at it as the fact that if we go out and we set up and we serve the community, say one of them gets sick.
That's the first thing I thought about. If somebody gets sick, then it's
and then
now what?
That's on the city's dime.
Right.
So I get it. It can be something as simple as you passing, a plate out the window to somebody and keep going. I mean, it's something as simple as that.
Right.
Costco, Wegmans,
right.
BJ's, all of them have the little containers, little Tupperware containers that you can have.
Right.
If you feel it in your heart, I mean, it's something as simple as filling that container with food and coming downtown.
And just dropping it
and
off.
And you see someone, pass it to them, keep it going. Give them a bottle of water, keep it going.
Right.
You've made an impact.
So let's talk about a couple of the highlights that you guys had. I mean, you talked about a little bit about the breast cancer awareness event that you had, but I see this event. It was called with their Rockstar. What's that about? What's that about?
So the Calvary has awards program that recognizes their volunteers that have provided over 1,000 meals, over 1,000. Some of them can be a varied, amount of like volunteer hours.
Okay.
And that word of mouth from the residents. So we were honored in 2017 with the Rockstar Award, and within that year we had served about 200 meals.
That's what's up.
And we had provided about 300 to 400 volunteer hours, because some of the volunteers under LBD also serve under their LEAP program and also their Step Up program.
Oh, wow.
So, and they also do the overnight volunteering as well. So, they don't necessarily, some of the volunteers don't necessarily wait on me. They love Calvary just as much as I do, so they reach back and ask if there is anything else that they need, they can be providing,
right.
To them.
Right.
And so they've done the overnights with the residents. They have done the LEAP programs, which is their lifestyle and enrichment advancement program. I hope I'm not quoting that wrong. But it's their lifestyle program. They're learning how to work a computer. They're learning how to, do an interview, dress the car, makeup, hair, body care, and
right.
Self-esteem. And one of the young ladies taught a Zumba class here. Another one taught them like time management and budgeting and financing and things of that nature. So it's just been a whole gamut of just different things that the ladies have kind of tuned into their own talents,
mm-hmm.
and they've brought to Calvary, and they've been here ever since.
And you guys been here 5 years.
Yeah.
That's what.
So the Rockstar Award was amazing because we had we only had about 7 volunteers that were core. And within that year, the amount of hours that we provided to Calvary and the number of meals that we were able to provide, because the community coordinator, I don't work that far. So if there was any other opportunities that they needed for us to be here, we were able to be here.
Okay.
And so, I mean, LBD is still hanging on because of, our amazing donors,
mm-hmm.
our amazing volunteers, I mean, the support that we've had because they see it every day. Not everyone has that passion and have that, that personality to come and be face to face with the ladies every day. And then those ones that, look forward to coming in and getting a hug.
But people be surprised. Some people will be really surprised that live in that box. That if they stepped outside that box once or twice and just sat down and talked to somebody they didn't know, what they would learn. Not just about that person, but about their self.
Absolutely. That's the
part that gets me. I mean, because I'm talking to these young dudes and I'm looking at them now,
and you see yourself,
and I see me
mm-hmm.
when I was in. Because I'm highly aggressive. I'm smart, so I'm a little arrogant. You know, I'm a little arrogant.
Really?
Little tinky bit. Yeah. Cause I think when I was in, you know, I'm gonna just be honest. You know, being arrogant can get you killed.
Absolutely.
You know, real fast.
Absolutely.
And I mean, it's not like it is on the street. I mean, this is an isolated area. Mm-hmm. You say some slick shit to somebody, you get dealt with, and that's just what it is. So
DC
I think
big, but DC's small. Too.
Right. So that's why I think in that frame of mind, I kind of, I was a little arrogant, but not all the way. But watching these dudes talk and watching their body language and how they talk, and then I had on a polo shirt and it kept raising up, so they started looking at my tats. They was like, "Oh, my man, he official." I was like, "Yeah, I mean, I've been in it, and I'm here, and I'm kind of." Y'all testimony that, you been out there, you did what you did, but guess what? It's some other stuff out there for you.
What I think a lot of people don't understand is that a lot of people that are homeless are not homeless because they use drugs and that they can't find a job type of thing, or they won't work. Some of the women and the men that I've met since I've been doing the community service is that they're like you and me.
Right.
Today or tomorrow, you can lose your job. Then
absolutely.
What?
Car crash.
Anything. Everything.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't realize that it can be the smallest thing that can change your life forever.
Right.
And some of the people that have opened up to me, it's been something as simple as, a parent dying,
right,
or a spouse dying,
right,
or their job closed down,
right,
and it could be something that simple that can change your life instantly,
right.
And that with people nowadays, it can happen to you.
That's true.
Who really has 3 to 6 months of funds saved over? Like seriously,
not I.
Like seriously. If like even going through all of the furlough stuff and all that whatnot, how many people can literally say that they can stay in their house 3 to 6 months after they losing their job or having a family crisis,
right,
and so forth and so on? How many can honestly say that I'm covered for the next 3 to 6 months and you can find a job anywhere?
Right.
That is what some of these people are going through. It's something that small,
right,
can change, that has changed their lives. And most of the women here that are residents of Calvary, they're working.
I see that.
They're working.
That's what's up.
So it's not the fact that they can't work. They're working, but the housing in this area is so expensive.
That's a whole nother.
Yeah, that affordable housing.
Yeah.
Oh, honey. It's something totally different.
Yeah, I mean, I drive in some areas in the city and I'll just be like, wait, what?
Right.
Where they do that at? I mean, it's townhouses here, it's condos here. Hold on, but the people that moved, that you kicked them out to build this, where they living at? Kenland, Landover 202, Bricey Road. I'm like, what? So, when they closed Berry Farms, I'm like, where everybody at Berry Farms gonna go? They on Kenland, they on PG now. So PG is Southeast now. I mean, people be like, what? I'll be like, I'm trying to tell you what I know. PG is Southeast now, for real.
Some parts of PG. Some parts.
Yeah, I mean, not all, but it's sad because when you say, PG is Southeast now, people say similar spots, Landover Road, King Square. They mention some of the same places. You just be like, damn, that's what it is, though.
Yeah, it's just the fact that they're affordable housing. It's not the fact that these people don't want to work. It's the fact that they're working, they're paying their bills, but they cannot afford to sustain a household.
Right, and that's not easy.
And it's not.
That's not easy. I don't know why people think, and
the fact that as many people and everything, the resources and everything that we have in this area, and that's just whole nother conversation, that all the resources that the District of Columbia has, that this still has this amount of people that are homeless. It doesn't make any sense that, hardworking people, even with the minimum wage getting raised and everything, you cannot afford to put a roof over your head, and that's sad.
But we got condos, we got this trolley. Whew, I was so heated when they made that. I was asking my brother, I was like, where does it go? I was like, does it even go to Union Station? He was like, no, I stopped right down at the end of 8th Street. I was like, so what What was the point of that?
It's not what goes to Union Station, but you still got to hop off and walk.
Right. I mean, because the worst part is you got to hop off and walk up that little hill to get to it. So it's like, what was the purpose? What was the purpose of that? Like, talking about Muriel Bowser is a whole different.
We gonna cut that right there.
Woosah. So tell the people when you hear. I see that it says that you hear every second Sunday.
We're here every second Sunday of the month, and we're also here every fifth Saturday. Of the months that have five Saturdays.
And then you do one breakfast?
And then we do one breakfast.
Okay.
And I have another group of ladies that come and do lunch every month.
Okay.
So, and then, we have the relationship where they know that if there's another group that has a slot that they can't come, that they know that they can call us. And more than likely, I can kind of send out a quick text and see if anybody's available. And most of the time, it's primarily myself and two other young ladies that will probably show up even when we're not scheduled to come, because we love Calvary that much.
That's what's up. And so if somebody was listening and they wanted to, not necessarily, you might have somebody that call you and say, hey, look, sign me up, I want to do it. But what if you had somebody who, was wondering, what would you tell them, one of the brightest spots to volunteer? What would you tell them one of the brightest spots would be to volunteer?
Of course. First, is you volunteer with LBD, and then we can definitely set you up with different organizations depending on your interests. Okay. But of course, our focus is to make sure that Calvary is taken care of right now. They are our premier partnerships.
Okay.
But we have connections to different organizations that are across the city. Okay. So you may not want to be a part of just a woman's organization. And like you were just looking up, we're looking to partner with My Sister's Place. Okay. Because they are, they focus on domestic violence, and they also help out, women with their children. Right. So they have a more grander impact. Okay. That, we haven't touched on yet. Right. We've dibbled and dabbled and, provided toiletries and done drives and things of that nature. And also Dash, if you want to look up them as well. Okay. Dash is the District Alliance for Safe Housing. Okay. And we've partnered with them in a sense where we've provided toiletries and diapers and things of that, food and clothing and everything to the women in DC. And they have a safe house in DC as well. Okay. So they can definitely connect with me as far as sending me an email or hitting me up on Facebook, because I'm always, available via one of the or the other. Okay.
And so if somebody wanted to contact you or get a little bit more information about your organization, just get connected to you, how can they find you?
I'm on Facebook under LBD Socials, and it's also I'm on Instagram under LBD Socials. If you want to connect with me directly, I'm LBD_founder on Instagram. And if you just want to shoot me an email, it's lbdsocials@gmail.com.
Jeanette, I did not know that it was this heavy.
Oh man, it's amazing.
I did not know it was this heavy.
Oh, it's so much more to it though.
And that's what's up. And that's the part that I didn't want to try to give away too much, because I still like to give people just enough. But I feel like if you're interested, you got to go and do your digging. You got to go and do your research. You got to go and do your part. Because I always hear people say, actions speak louder than words. And it's a real statement. It's like, you can tell me one thing, but let me see what you're going to do.
Absolutely.
And so with volunteering, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, I can tell you where we're going to be at, but what time you getting there?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
And that's one of the biggest things with me. I'm very prideful on my timing here and how we serve. We have a reputation here, and I'm going to uphold that.
When I texted you and I was like, I'm here, you was like, oh, okay, he tried to challenge me because he is way on time. I was like, man, I'm right around the corner. Let me just post up and just get here. Yeah, so man, look, I'm happy. What the event has grown to be. I'm actually again happy to see the community-based part, because I know it started out as a social event, but now it's more community-based driven. And we talked about this place, which is Calvary Women's Services, and then we talked about the Christ House, and then we talked a little bit about My Sister's Place and Dash. And I mean, here it is now. We know about more stuff that we knew about in the beginning of the the interview. So that's what's up. So I'm happy that you're doing it. I'm happy I'm doing what I'm doing. I appreciate you just taking some time with me just to share what you guys are doing and your partnership here with Calvary Women's Services. And I'll give you a minute or two. Is there anything you want to tell anybody? Shout anybody out? Shout your girls out? I know when we talked, they said that the one of the chefs here, she passed away recently.
Yeah.
It said she passed away on 5/16, so that was not too long ago.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
No, I just appreciate giving me the opportunity to let everyone know what we're doing, and we definitely need the help. We definitely want to expose people to this opportunity, especially with Calvary. I mean, there's really not much more I can say about what it feels like to give back to the community. It just feels good.
Right.
And I mean, I sleep better when I know that I have been able to do something as simple as provide a meal to a person, and it has impacted their lives. So, I mean, just do it. Find something. Even if it's not with LBD, find something to do. Something, some place needs help somewhere. Right. And that is what a lot of the nonprofits benefit from, is volunteering.
Right.
So, I mean, the opportunities are out there. You just got to search for them. And if you need help, I'm available.
So Jeanette has given you guys all her information. You guys know where to find me. I'm on Facebook at Real Talk with the 6THMAN. I'm on IG at the 6THMAN. I'm also on Twitter, but I don't use Twitter that much. But people are telling me that I need to start trying to work on Twitter, so I'll try. But if you know me, you know how to find me. You know where I am on social media when I go live and things of that nature. So again, Jeanette, thank you for spending some time with me and telling us about LBD, Little Black Dresses, and the Calvary Women's Services. And just want to thank you for letting me, come in, in the spot. And they actually were nice enough to give us a room to talk and share this information. So I thank you.
We're currently serving dinner right now.
Oh, let's go get something to eat. It's the 6THMAN. I appreciate y'all. Community based is what we doing, man. Y'all get out here and be better than you were yesterday, man. Y'all be easy. Japer's Clothing is a new, stylish, black-owned brand established in 2016. They explore unfamiliar territories in the clothing industry by tailoring their Euro Street vibe into their entire product line to enrich their vision to their customers and all of their clients. In a world where you can be anything, Japer says, be you, be versatile. Japer's Clothing can also be found at www.shopjapersclothing.com, and Japer's Clothing is also an official partner of this show, Real Talk with the 6THMAN. Japer's, be you, be versatile.